My name is Sean Walker. I'm a Principal Product Success Architect here at ServiceNow. Today I'm going to be talking to you about pallets, aisles, and spaces. Pallets, aisles, and spaces were added to the hardware asset management in the Utah release. You can now create pallets to store and transfer assets. Aisles and spaces allow asset managers to track precise locations within a stockroom. A new model category was created to allow for the creation of pallet models, which will allow for the creation of pallet assets. A new table was created, ALM pallet, extending off the ALM asset table. Once a pallet has been created, you will be able to add and remove assets to the pallet as inventory processes are executed. Pallets allow you to group in-stock assets, which aligns with warehouse best practices and allows for bulk updates. As pallet records are updated, the assets within the pallet will get updated as well, which increases the inventory details and decreases the level of effort required to manage warehouse assets. I will now jump into an instance and demonstrate this feature. Okay, so now I've logged into a Vancouver instance which has hardware asset management installed. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a pallet so that we can add our assets to it. So one of the features I'm going to be showing you is how to use the pallet in the disposal flow. So we're going to create a pallet today for disposal assets. The first thing I need to do is to make sure there's a model in place to be able to create the pallet against. So I can take a look here and see if I have any models for a disposal pallet. And I don't have any models for a disposal pallet. So I'm going to create a new model that I'm going to use for disposals. So I'm going to pick the model type, which is pallet. I'm going to pick the manufacturer, and we get all of our pallets from one company. And I'm going to call this the disposal pallet. And I'm going to give it a short description: pallet to be used for assets to be disposed. Okay, and that's pretty much all you need to do to create a new model for a pallet. So we're going to hit save. And now that the pallet model has been created, I can come into my asset estate and actually create a new pallet. So in this case, I'm going to create a new pallet in our Canada East stockroom because I've got some disposals that need to go there. So I'm going to pick the model. There's our disposal pallet. I'm going to apply an asset tag so you can use for scanning purposes. And I'm going to pick the stockroom that this is located in. So this is going to be going into our Canada East stockroom. Now the other new feature that's been added is the ability to track aisles and spaces. And this allows asset managers to be able to direct people to say any new disposed assets should go to the pallet that's located on aisle 4 and in space 17. And that way everybody knows exactly which pallet is set aside for anything that's pending disposal. So now I can go ahead and create this new asset. So I'm just going to jump back over into my stockroom now and make sure that that pallet has been created. So I can see here I have one pallet, and there's our pallet that we just created, our pallet asset we just created, which is in aisle 4, space 17. So now we're going to take a bunch of the assets that are in this stockroom that are in a state of in-stock pending disposal, and we're going to add them to this pallet. So now we can come over to the pallet, to the asset tab, and we can actually click on add assets. You can also choose to add consumables to pallets as well. But in this case, we're going to be doing a disposal, and we have a bunch of assets that need to be disposed of. So it's going to bring up a list of assets that are in this particular stockroom. And I'm going to take a look for anything that has a state of in-stock pending disposal. I'll apply this filter, And now I can see that there's 5 assets in this location that are pending disposal. I'm going to take all of these assets and I'm going to add them to the pallet. Okay, and then I'm going to save this. So now all of these assets are added to the pallet. And so if I take a look at one of these assets, what it's done is it's also specified that this particular asset is now in aisle 4, space 17, because that's where the pallet is located. And it's now associated with the pallet, the parent as the pallet. So this asset has a parent now, which is the pallet. And so it's that easy to add assets to pallets. And we can also remove assets from pallets. Let's say perhaps this one ended up getting who knows what, and we decided to remove it. We can actually just remove this particular asset from the pallet. So now we have 4 assets on this pallet. We're just going to save this. And now we can go in and show you how to use pallets within the inventory processes within hardware asset management. So one of the things we do a lot of the times is transfer orders. So you can actually assign pallets to transfer orders as well. So I'm going to just create a new transfer order here. Let's say it's from the Canada East stockroom, and it's going to say the Canada West stockroom. Save this, and now when I go to my transfer order lines and add, I can actually add the disposal pallet that's created in this, and I could actually transfer this if I wanted to. So there's the pallet model, there's that pallet 84, and we could use now pallets instead of individual assets and adding individual assets to a transfer order. So the benefit to this is basically all of the assets will move as one. So as this pallet goes through the transfer order process and the states get updated, all of the assets contained on this pallet will continue to get all of the states and substates updated throughout the process. So I'm actually not going to save this because I want to show you the disposal order process. So I don't want to add that pallet to the transfer order so I can use it again in the disposal order. So now I'm going to go back over to my disposal orders, and I'm actually going to go into create a new disposal order and pick the stockroom I'm creating it for. So I'm going to pick our Canada East stockroom. Now I have to assign this to somebody, so I'm just going to assign this to Abraham Lincoln, and I'm going to pick the vendor, which is our disposal company, and I'm going to hit save. So now I can add my planned assets to this disposal order, and so now I can add, let's take a look for pallets. Well, actually it's right here. We're going to add this to our disposal order. Oh, that wasn't the right pallet. So actually I'm going to remove this. And I'm going to add the right one this time. So let's take a look for other pallets here. And here it is. Here's our disposal pallet. That's the one we wanted to add. So we're going to add this. And when I add this pallet, you can see all of the assets that are on that pallet are now also added to this disposal order. So it says even here, change the parent disposal applies to all child assets. And so we can save this particular disposal order, and I could run through each of the disposal tasks, and the assets, all the assets on that pallet are going to get updated with each step of the disposal process. So we'll run through the disposal order process in a later video, but I wanted to show you how you can now use pallets within your inventory management processes. Thanks. I hope you found this helpful.